G'day, mate. How the bloody hell are you? Welcome to In the Back of My Head podcast, episode 92. A little accidental, right? It's a creative journal where I rant and rave, ramble on about whatever's in the back of my head, try and make some sense of some things, try and clear some pathways, try and get on the straight and narrow, try and actually get down to business, try and actually get onto it, get in and get around it, get amongst it, pass it on and around. Just fucking get on with it, mate. Actually get, into the practice of actually making some stuff. Get out of my own way, out of my own head. Our biggest hurdle is our own egos. Our own insecurities, our own anxieties. So the purpose of this podcast is to try and get over those myself. And if it helps you do the same for you, fucking brilliant. And if it doesn't, there's a million people doing exactly the same thing on YouTube. So go almost anywhere else. I have no plan for this episode, for I have been both very, very busy, but also very, very scattered and consumed and disconnected. And I suppose I'll speak on the trigger that really sent me spiraling this past week, and it's kind of dumb what got me so worked up and how worked up I got over it. And maybe you'll relate, and I've spoken about this plenty in regards to fighting with your tools, or in regards to perfecting your space, in having everything available at hand. So that, again, if you are your biggest hurdle, which I am certain that you are, the hurdle that you're trying to overcome is just starting. Is just sitting down and starting. That's the biggest hurdle that any creative faces, is actually just to do the thing, is to just sit down and start. And then beyond that, the rest will most likely work itself out. You might even hate a lot of what you might even hate a lot of what you put out, but you still would have done it, and that's a good drive. And that's how I feel 98% of the time, is not being happy, but having done it, still feeling motivated enough to do the next one, whatever it is. Could be a song, could be a poem, could be a 3D model, or a little figurine that you're working on, whatever it is. That sense of just accomplishment, of just having some sort of output, is hugely motivating and addictive. And I'm definitely addicted to that. I need something like I can hold, or just look at, or hear, listen, that is basically something that I could show off with. Some show and tell is in order at the end of every day, and if I don't have something that I can be like, look, I did a thing, then I fall apart like a straw house that is barely holding up. I'm addicted to that output, and it could be several things. There could be a very short attention span. Look into that however you wish. There could be living on the internet, essentially. That there is that demand, that expectation to be putting stuff out. There is just the comparison you make between oneself to any other creative that you've ever seen, be they hugely famous or be they just your mate who is putting some stuff out, and you go, fuck, why can they do it and I can't do it? Oh, it's because I'm a big piece of shit. It's usually because you're a big piece of shit, and so you become addicted to it. If you can, and I'm good at this. I'm good at this part. I'm good at this part of just sitting down at the desk and doing something with my time. I would say too much. I think others would agree on that I try and do too many different things all at the same time. Too many different creative outlets, too many different mediums. Not necessarily good at any of them. But if I was to give myself one little bit of credit, it is that I did it. I do it continuously. Sit here and actually just do some stuff. A lot of procrastination. There's a lot of procrastination, but that goes hand in hand with having a lot of time, which I'm very fortunate to have. So I become addicted. I become addicted to just having something at the end of the day. And fuck, does it feel good to just have something. Depends on what it is. It's funny as which things get measured differently as well. Filling this with tabletop. As I've said, I'm really getting back into tabletop miniatures. I'm getting back into Warhammer thanks to having some mates that are into it. And bloody hell, Warhammer loves company. The misery of spending all of your money on little plastic men, little dudes, and it loves a bit of company. It's been really good getting back into it. But it is funny that, like, I don't feel the same gratification of holding a miniature that I've painted as I do making a short video or putting out a podcast. Or, no, podcast doesn't really do it. Usually a song does it, an image does it, and I think the key there is something that I can share. I feel like the podcast is a bit different because it's more just a journal thing, so it doesn't feel like an output as such. It doesn't feel like an object that I've made, like an actual work of some kind. It just feels like it is just rambling, so it feels different. But having something that I can actually just share, post on social media, on my website or what have you, feels like, that's the good stuff, baby. That's what I need. I need that hit, that fix. I don't quite get it from Warhammer, but I think that's a good sign, actually, that I'm on the right track with it, because it's not for that. It's not really for sharing as much. I still share it a little bit, but nowhere near to the same degree. When I first started getting into tabletop stuff a few years ago, like, I was keeping a blog, I was posting, I was sharing all this stuff, and people responded really well to it, so it was like there's an incentive there to share more of it. But I've painted several teams up, and I've made some terrain and stuff, and I've not shared any of it, I don't think, because I'm like, that's fine, I'm just going to show that to my mate who I play it with. I don't need to put it on the internet. This is kind of aside. This is an aside. This is not really part of what I'm talking about. But that addictive quality of some show and tell. Usually show and tell on the internet. And so, if you were good at that, if you were good at just sitting down and starting something, if you were good at just sitting down and making something that you can put out there that makes you feel good, that you're proud of as well, not just like throwing random bullshit out for the sake of just posting something. I've been pretty quiet, relatively speaking, on social media because I don't have a lot of output at the moment, but I feel okay about that because I'm making stuff. Got a lot of songs in the works. That's really good. I feel really good about that. So if you're good at that, if you're good at just like, working, just doing the actual, just sitting down, just that first hurdle of just actually getting out of your own fucking way and just starting something, working on something, then you might run into that. You might run into that problem of becoming addicted, or just measuring your quality as a human being against how much you've put out today, what you've put out today, who's seen what, how many people can you show this little thing to. Or it could just be personally. It might not even need to be that you need to show someone, but you will feel like, if I didn't do this thing, if I don't have some sort of tangible output, then I am a piece of shit. And once again, the main reason you're a piece of shit. You've come to the logical conclusion that you're a piece of shit. And we all arrive at that. Now, if you're feeling good about yourself, and you're not feeling down on yourself, and you're feeling like you're pretty good, you're starting stuff, you're putting stuff out, and you feel pretty calm and relaxed, but then there's that nagging feeling of like, I gotta have something. Well, then the greatest hurdle that you can run into, sorry, not the greatest hurdle, the greatest like frustration, the thing that will just dismantle you as a human being, and obviously I'm just talking about myself, the whole podcast is just me talking about myself. The biggest frustration is when your tool doesn't do the thing that you want it to do. And I like this about tabletop, I like this about Warhammer. I think this is why Warhammer actually still really serves this more like a cathartic, meditative feeling for me. It's because it's with my hands and I can see the thing and it all makes sense. I don't glue an arm to a Space Marine and it doesn't attach because the glue is glitching. Because the glue just got updated by Microsoft and the whole thing doesn't work anymore and you have to wait for a bug fix. That doesn't happen. It's glue, baby. It's all physical. It gets all over your hands and it sticks to your face when you touch your face, and it's a right nightmare. But a scalpel is a very physical object that I can use to scrape off things and to cut things, and it all makes perfect sense. So that's playing a very important role for me right now, because then in the world of the computer, which is where I live, it's where I die, it's in my heart and soul is in this machine by my feet, and I'm trying desperately to work with it to make videos and to 3D model currently. And if anyone's 3D modeled, then they know that Blender is a beautiful, one of the best pieces of software on the internet. It is one of the most powerful pieces of software on the internet. It can do nigh anything in the 3D modeling space, and texturing, and rigging, and rendering, and all this stuff, animating. I think you can even run games in it, I'm not entirely sure. It's got physics engines, I know that. It can do everything and it's free, and it's also a small package. It's not even like a big program, but it's bloody brilliant. And it's held together by a beautiful community of people that are like donating to it and providing feedback and support and yada yada. And it's a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare. It's notoriously got the worst UI among any programs that are out there, and that's probably because it's a Swiss Army knife. It's trying to do a bit of everything, and it's gotten a lot better. It's a much better program than when I first started trying to use it, maybe 10 years ago at this point. Fuck me. And I dabble in it every now and then, and right now I'm like kind of trying to put more time and effort into it, and this is a very emotional thing. It shouldn't be. It seems so silly for something like this to completely unravel you as a person, but I was trying to achieve something in Blender. I forget even what I was trying to achieve, and it would not work. And every tutorial or solution that you find, a menu section has changed, or an update has broken that thing, or just changed the hotkey, and so there's a lot of problem solving, but there's also a lot of glitches and a lot of things just going wrong and things not working how you expect. And I'm really good at just sitting down and doing the thing. I'm really good at just sitting down and doing the thing, and especially like at the moment when I have so many other things up in the air, I'm juggling so many things, and I'm working a lot at a real job, like a 9 to 5 job, not 5 days a week, but there are weeks where I do 3 to 4 days, and so my time is much more limited. And so when I'm good at doing the thing, which is sitting here, and the program, the tool, I don't even want to call it a program because it's your tool. It is the thing that you have to work with and should work with you in order to achieve the thing that is in your head. And there is a lot of training, a lot of time, a lot of practice that has to go into using said tool, which I'm going to have to do a lot more of. But there is a deeply emotional reaction for me, and I'm sure I've seen it in others. Oh, I've seen it in my dad. I've seen it in Dad, he's done it. I've seen him, and he doesn't work with computers at all, but when something isn't working the way that it's supposed to, oh, he gets fucking livid. He gets very, and that's where I got it from, I'm sure, but man, my mental state just shut down. I became completely disconnected from reality. I found it very hard to actually talk to anyone, found it very hard to think about anything else except fixing this fucking thing. And the last days, my social batteries were completely depleted, even though I hadn't really been that social. It was just I had nothing to give to people. And it's a fascinating thing to me to see that emotional reaction where you invest all this time and effort into something, and when it breaks you. I find it very hard to switch off. I find it very hard to be like, all right, that's done. It's not working. That's fine. I'll move on to the next thing. I'll come back to it later. I find it very hard to do that. And I see it. I see it in my mates. I see it in my mates who are currently also trying to build video games with me. We've got a little team. We're building video games, and the tools are fighting us back. And it kills you. It kills you. And I don't really have much of a thought of like a solution. I usually try and pose a problem and then a solution on these episodes, but this one I'm just sort of at a loss. I guess I just want to I just kind of wanted to speak on it for the purposes of if you too are just ripped away from reality by these things. Could be anything, could be any aspect of the creative process, but when you are ripped away from reality due to a tool not working or a mental block that you're finding, I mean, writer's block is one that absolutely just decimates your soul, and you feel ridiculous. I think that's the worst part about this. The worst part is, first of all, actually, no. So the worst part is how disconnected you are from other people. That's just, you want to be a good person, so you want to be nice to those around you. And when you are in this state, it is hard to be present with people. And I think that's the worst part. It's the worst part. Because if you're not good to your folks, if you're not good to your friends and family, then there's no fucking point in doing any of it. Nothing should come at the cost of that. The second worst part, I think, is how much of a fool you feel. When you feel just depressed and ripped away from reality once again by these kind of things, by a tool not working, or by writer's block, or by just not having the time, or even if you do sit down, you actually do the thing, you've gotten over that first hurdle, and you have nothing. You got nothing. We've all done that. Number of fucking number of times that I've sat down and I'm trying to figure out a bass line for a song, and I play 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 and I walk away being like, fuck. I hated every fucking piece of that. It destroys you. Such a personal thing to try and like put out creative work. So these things really can really mess you up. Temporarily, you'll be back and in greater numbers, but can really mess you up. And it's frustrating how foolish you feel, because it is silly. It's a very silly thing to be so distraught by such a thing. Still chipping away though. I'm still working at it. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure out how to achieve the thing that I want to achieve in Blender. I can't wait till I do. It'll be an enormous sense of relief. But what I actually wrote here, which is kind of like the overarching topic of this, is you feel foolish. I'm trying to be very delicate with this kind of stuff, because I really hate toxic productivity, especially as a creative. When you tell yourself or anyone else that you need to just hustle, if you wake up at 4 and you work until 8 and you get an extra day or some shit, whatever it is, and you got to do an ice cold bath, like a cold plunge, and then you'll be buff or something. And I hate all of that, because I feel like it is completely vapid nonsense for the most part. Now, that being said, talking about how deeply frustrated I am with myself and with this pointless, meaningless situation that I have found myself in, which is negligible in terms of who it affects, what it affects, it does bring me to the thought that a lot of this is brute force. It's very all well and good to be taken by inspiration, taken by a whim, create because your heart beats ink and it must be poured onto the page, beautiful. And when you get that, it's fucking awesome. But those moments are few and far between, and the rest of the time is just brute forcing it. And I don't believe in brute forcing it when you can feel it when you need to stop. You can feel it when you simply should not be doing this. And I have spent the past 4 or 5 days really brute forcing my creative output. Not even creative output. I'm just going to say creative lifestyle. Just hours and hours forcibly preparing for radio coming up this Sunday, completely building a music library and system and building playlists and stuff like that for radio from the fucking ground up. That's been a nightmare. I hated it, and I did it, and I feel really good that I did it. working through these 3D things, going through tutorial and finding the solution that I need for this particular problem that I haven't even fully realized what it is yet. And all while multiple new jobs have come across my desk, which has been fantastic, but it also has meant that I'm very, very time poor. And I was speaking with a mate about this, and I actually showed him my calendar, my time blocking of like, I have a 3-hour gap here, I'm going to fill it with this thing. And I've talked about this on the podcast about trying to get away from time blocking, and I stand by that. That these potentially toxic time management and productivity hacks and skills can be really bad for you at certain times, and if you become reliant on them. However, when it comes time that you feel like you are under the pump, that you are busy, that you know there's time, where is it though? I can't really fucking rationalize it, I can't see it, it's not tangible. Or you're just in the habit of saying, yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. And it keeps not happening. In these times, sometimes you just gotta brute force it. Sometimes you have to live and die by the to-do lists and the time blocking. And I'm really annoyed at myself for how frustrated and how consumed and how like ripped away from reality I got from this fighting with my tools situation. But I'm very glad that I have that tool set of time management in the back pocket that I'm trying to get away from a little bit, but in this moment, a moment of limited time, hectic schedule, and lots of things that I'm juggling and trying to achieve at the same time, I'm fucking glad that I have that skill set. It's not as whimsical, it's not very fun even the whole time, but in this moment I feel really good that I'm plowing forward and getting through the thing. So that on the other side, when time is abundant, you can chill the fuck out and just spend some nice quality time with yourself, just very casually being creative, very casually enjoying life. Jesus. Well, that's a rant and a rave, a ramble of an episode. I feel like that was fucking chaos, but good. Feels good to just ramble about that, because I am off on another fucking planet at the moment, creatively and personally and emotionally, and I look forward to some calmer mental space after these jobs. I've got graphic design work, I potentially have voiceover work out of fucking nowhere, which is going to be interesting. Did a demo reel for a project today, no idea if that'll go anywhere, but happy to throw my hat in the ring for another thing, for some money. And I've got radio, doing Triple R graveyard shift on Sunday, this Sunday, can't remember what the date is, doesn't matter, at 4 a.m. So listen back at a reasonable hour. I've spent a lot of time building a new music library about that, and I've talked a lot about that, so this week really was me like brute forcing that. It's good, all this talk about building a new music library so I actually appreciate and actually understand my music library, and then having a reason to like really build it up. So that'll be cool, and I'll report back, or you'll listen back, I don't know. Yeah, fuck it, that's episode 92 of In the Back of My Head podcast. Hope you got something out of it, mate. I love you very much. See you on the other side, boy.